Air signs. Sorry, I did, whatever. We're just going to leave it. So we're going to start with Aquarius. I intentionally left air signs until the very last sign I was going to read this month because I had a feeling y'all have some complicated energies coming through. Just mentally, very, I'm not going to say convoluted because that's the wrong word. I would say entangled. Okay. You've got some very entangled energies. Yes. I don't think you're that passionate about that coming out either. I don't think you necessarily want to be entangled. It's going to be for Aquarius. First and foremost, abundance coming right out. That's what I mean is, do you see that this is all like twist, like it's curled into itself. There's something that has like recoiled its energy. It's no longer abundant, or it's going to be abundant once it opens up, but it's not open right now. Okay. And that might be like, this could be in any area of your life. You'll know how this applies. It just, something is like, I just want to say, like, it's kind of like the nut inside of the shell. It's That's not there right now. Okay. I will say there's a ton of cards on the ground that I'm not going to pick up right now, but passion came out in the upright, whereas it wanted to be in the reverse a moment ago. To me, what that says is that this is not something you're very passionate about. It isn't really something that you're passionate about, but you might be in the future. Okay. This is, power coming out. This is something that's going to be powerfully affecting you. The unfurling of this abundance that has to do with like something that's kind of hidden right now. It isn't all the way on display quite yet. Okay. This is going to take a moment. Abundant, passionate power is absolutely kind of like Aquarius. I want to say this is like a renewable energy source. That's judgment. Okay. That just never runs out. It's the Energizer bunny that never needs batteries. So the Energizer bunny is going to stop drumming his drum a lot sooner than this is going to run out of power. This is just getting started. So you see that like the unfurling is about that tall so far. A finger. It's a finger tall. Something is like it has just now started to poke its head above the ground, and it's not at all like on full ta-da. Okay, that passionate power, that's what's coming. It's coming in the future. Not right now, in the future. In the future. It's somewhere out there right now being matriculated down. Okay. We've got mountain in reverse. This abundance is not going to be difficult. There's not going to be a mountain that you have to climb over, up. Like there's not going to be like a sheer face wall that you have to figure out how to scale. Okay? This is like literally so incredibly abundant that you're just going to walk into it. You're just literally going to be like, oh, hi. There you are. Oh, hi. Here I am. This is coming out in the second place with the passion. This is wishing well. Number 10. So I don't know if y'all know what TIN numbers are or EIN numbers. There's something about that here, Aquarius. It's almost like as soon as you start whatever this is, and you're not really thinking about it as like an obstacle or a hurdle or something that you need to compete with or put down or teach a lesson to, like, I don't know what the negative energy here was that has built up, but as soon as you get rid of that, your abundance gets to unfurl. It's like everything is kind of just handed to you. Everything. There's not going to be an anthill, a molehill. No. You can wish them well, and you can say it passionately. I wish you well. But I also wish myself well. I also wish myself the very best that there is to offer. That is star power. You can't really help anyone else until you put your own oxygen mask on. Sometimes oxygen masks look like somebody who has like lung problems. But this isn't that. This is understanding the fact that like you won't have lung problems if you don't scream every day or you don't use the entire capacity of your lungs. Like, here's the compass in reverse. That's what I mean, is like if you don't navigate that way, your power isn't going to be drained. If you go towards situations that there's a whole mountain of issues where no one's wishing you well and everyone's trying to tell you which direction to go, I'm just flipping each of the cards. That's going to be a bigger problem for you than if you were to just go with your own intuitive nudges. That's what it is. Look, here's movement. You're moving. I don't know where you're moving to, but you're moving towards this divine guidance. You're moving towards judgment or a divine guidance, something that's going to listen. That just fell off, like a chunk of cards just fell off on the table. Someone is listening to your movement. I don't feel like this is the person that's going to receive your blessing. This movement is the blessing. Okay, this is what goes at the top of the reading with divine guidance. This one's trying to listen to like the bottom of the reading. It's almost like someone who's focused on ass. I don't know that song. But you know what song I'm talking about. It's like they're like booty, butt, ass. It's almost like that. It's someone who's like, their mountain is going to be way more than a mountain to traverse. It's going to be like, do you see how the light is shining directly on his mouth? Somebody is talking so much that they're making a mountain out of a molehill, or they're making something like way more complicated than it has to be. Okay? That's what this is. It's like as soon as you just shut this person up, okay? Or don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Like just don't. Leave it alone. And as soon as you do that, the access to more information is gonna unfurl. This is number 6 in the reverse. And this is abundance. Okay? You have to choose like how you're gonna listen. Because you can either listen to conventional advice, which will make you worry about everything. We live in a society of scarcity and lack. Where everyone's like, oh, you're not pretty enough. You need some makeup. You need L'Oreal. You need to be a cover girl. And you also need some Revlon. No, I don't. I'm good. That's that mountain you're trying to make out of. I'm like a 3 in the face. I know that. Okay? That's the abundant part about knowing who you are. I don't want to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. I don't strive for that. I don't work hard to finesse my makeup skills. And no shade to the women that do, but that's not what I'm listening to. When I see an elephant, I don't see that it needs its face painted or its trunk to be like, you know, a bright color in order for me to see that it's an elephant, that it has compassion, that it's a living entity, that it's a breathing, important part of abundant life on this planet. You could probably see on their face about, I don't know, like 10% of what's going on beneath the surface. They have a really big head compared to ours. How do you know how big an elephant brain is? Like, they tell us how big they think every, like, dolphin brains are and elephant brains and all. Have you cut one open to confirm that for yourself? Because elephants are one of the only animals that grieves the death of a family member. Literally grieves it. Like, they feel something when people die around them. For a really long time, they're affected. You would think that's a sign of intelligence, right? But instead, we think that um, marine life that can recognize itself in a mirror is more intelligent. So, is it more intelligent to recognize yourself like narcissists, or is it more important to have compassion for yourself in relationship to other people? That's kind of what I mean about this mountain out of a molehill. You're going to have to decide, and I'm not telling you that there's a right and a wrong answer to that question. I'm just posing it. What are you listening to? The advice of other people or your advice from your spirit guides, like from within yourself? Do you listen to your own feedback? A little feeling in the pit of your stomach like, oh, I probably shouldn't do this right now. Don't. It's kind of what it means. It's like there's something coming through there, Aquarius, that you need to listen to. Yeah, here's ill will and aversion upside down with the mountain. This is also number 6. There's something about sixes coming through. This is now 6-6. There's no mountain of ill will. There's only abundance. But you have to look at the situation and find that abundance. Sometimes you're going to want to unfurl or show your face or be at ease is what I'm hearing. I don't know. Someone could be a soldier here, at ease soldier. That's what's coming through. It's like you don't need to people please in order to get where you need to go. You can just be yourself, and people either honor that and enjoy it, or they won't. Let's pretend like you were pretending to be somebody, Aquarius. If people started respecting that version of yourself, then if have a totally different personality behind the scenes, that's not actually who you are. The aversion is going to come from yourself because all of a sudden you're going to have a realization, I've not been being myself. I've not said what I need to do, like say or do what I need to do for my abundance to unfurl. Which kind of sucks because it's like you put a whole bunch of, you built a mountain. And I don't even know if I mean, this is either you or someone coming towards you, but it's like someone built an entire reality around themselves of just ill will, like just bad intentions, bad bets. And it's so much harder to get out of that than it is to get into it. Yeah, so just don't get into it in the first place. Don't, this reactive emotion right here, it should be passionate. You should react passionately when something affects you. If someone's just like, oh, this person died, and you're just like, but you knew that person, you guys had a mountain of a relationship, do you think that's an appropriate reaction? Is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, Aquarius, you need to be very studious, like observant. You need to be listening because people are about to show their ass. Okay? There's number 2, the gentle gardener, right under listening, and they're not listening to any. Look, this is so much elephant energy coming through. This person is listening, but they're actually not doing anything about what they're hearing. So it's almost like warning somebody, hey, you're not being as gentle as you could be, or as kind, or as loving, or as compassionate. And they just get themselves stuck because instead of listening and hearing are 2 different functions. When you're listening to somebody, excuse me, I was just looking at this energy right there. Someone's not listening to the way in which they could protect their future or their fortune or whatever. I'm seeing that YouTube video of the little boy who's trying to get the cookies from the top shelf. And he's like, listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. And she's like, don't you call me Linda. All this stuff, that's her name though. And the little boy ain't wrong. He's like, you never give me cookies. I asked for cookies, you don't give them to me. So now when I have to go get the cookies myself, you get angry. He's actually defending his little brother. But that's the point. It's like listening and hearing what the person is saying is totally 2 different things. You can be listening to the teacher talk at the front of the room and all you hear is blah, 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 blah. You can take notes on everything that's on the board and you can still ace your test. You can go to the library and rent a book, read it yourself, and still ace your test. When you're hearing somebody, there's comprehension behind it. That's like taking someone to court. You know, you go to court for a hearing. The group of jurors is supposed to be hearing you out. And the judge is supposed to be understanding what the jurors are hearing because they've taken a vote and submitted it. It's protocol. There's something about protocol and your protocol needing to be kind of reactive right now. Right down the middle, there's reactive emotion, wishing well, and passion. It's like the passion of the Christ. Some people listen to the message of whatever religion they follow and they hear the gospel. They hear the words being read off the page. It sounds nice, but it never really hits home. It's never really like processed. So that passion can never be something that they wish well upon other people. In fact, when they see other people experiencing passion, they think that's what they're supposed to be perceiving from the words they're hearing from the book that they're listening to. You can listen to the words, do as I say, not as I do. Let's just use golden rule since we're talking about all religions. I use golden rule a lot. Treat others the way that you would like to be treated. You can hear those words and it never really hits home for you that like you actually have to treat other people, you have to figure out what you would like, what would you enjoy, and do that for other people. Sometimes that just never really actually registers. So you pretend like you're nice, you're like, oh, blah 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 blah. um I'll give you an example. It's always been hard for me to accept just free love, like no strings attached. What do you mean there's no strings attached? Of course there's strings attached. What are they? I'm more of that type of like, I want to know what comes with this. What's the fine print? I'm going to nitpick the fine print because that's what gets you in the long run, right? In this specific case, listening has everything to do with the fact that the person who handed you the paperwork in the beginning said, oh, if you don't agree with anything in this contract, you don't have to sign that. So automatically, you can work under the table. I don't have to sign this, but it's something that you think I should be listening to. That's extremely like Maxwell butterfly, like pretty wings. Like I'm basically giving you permission to just fly away whenever you want to. I'll probably take that choice over signing anything at all. Signing things is like our forefathers, and we're not posted no cursive anymore. Your name, when you, a signature, I'm not talking about print. I'm talking about a signature is actual cursive. So if we're not teaching cursive anymore, I should be able to print my name on everything that needs a signature, right? It isn't really fair for the older generations to know how to do that. And like the people who are going to be 18 this year, that might be like the last generation that knows cursive. Yep, there's number 3, praise and blame. Coming out with power. So power and praise and blame is coming out together. That's what I mean. I think that's why I needed to explain that contractual difference between hearing somebody and listening to them. I can listen to your problems all day and not agree with you at all. She'd be like, I think my friend is dead wrong doing exactly what they're doing. They're dead wrong doing exactly what they're doing. But I'm still listening. I hear what you're saying, as in I understand what is coming out of your mouth. I don't necessarily agree with it. That's the difference. Praise and blame has nothing. Listen, you have the power to praise somebody or blame them. That's the movement. You're going to either move toward praise or towards blame. I think we all kind of know which one feels a lot better. I didn't even see this right behind here. I swear I just picked this deck up too. That's all I'm saying, is that there's 2 separate directions that you can go towards. You're either going to praise somebody or blame them for whatever's going on. It's a mountain out of a molehill, or it's nothing. It's just a handoff. Like, here's your right to make your own decisions. Here's your free will versus ill will. Here's your listening skills along with your hearing skills. Why don't you move toward one or both of those instead of praise and blame? If you're going to praise somebody, then there's no explanation needed. It's like seeing the results of really hard work. It's just going to show up. I can't give you directions how to get there. You either are there or you're not. And yes, you do have a decision if you'd like to, subvert those feelings or feel them out loud, up front, in your face. That's the power of having praise and blame. If I praise something and I make it feel really good just because I know how that feels and this feels good, it's probably more likely to stay near me or with me than if I was to blame it for everything wrong that happens in my life, everything wrong that takes place in my world. Plus, you don't know what someone else has been through before. Maybe they've been abused. Maybe they've been hurt. Maybe somebody never listened to them in the way that they wanted to be listened to. Maybe they've taken a lot of blame for a lot of people that just don't see it. Those people take it for granted or not. I don't know how this is going to apply to your life, Aquarius. I just know that it's important for you to understand. This is ill will in the reverse, meaning there's no ill will here. This reactive emotion has to do with being praised and blamed at the same time, which is the problem with this unfurling of abundance that could be coming from more or less like a molehill. A whole bunch of people who think they know what they're talking about because they're a mole, but they don't actually know the whole entire story from whatever side they're looking at it from because they're a mole. So all they do is eavesdrop. They hear snippets and clippets and edited versions of this, that, and the other and believe it. Understand that that's not the judgment that needs to come towards you. You make your own judgments. So I feel like that's a really important thing to remember during this time of movement. You are your own best and most efficient judge. Okay, there's healing. You can heal yourself. You don't need to wait for other people to give you permission to move to a safe space. Like you can just go whenever you feel like it. It's your pretty wings. Spread them and fly. The people who have to live without you from here on out or are going to keep their nasty little dirty secrets, like that's on them. That's the molehill that you're basically just going to unsubscribe from. The molehill can chill out. More or less. More or less. Anyway, Aquarius, this has been your reading. Hope it was helpful.